Hello and welcome to Community Conversations. I'm your host, KK Conachero. Being called a model of something when it comes to education is something to be very proud of. And they are very proud over at Brookvale Elementary, as the school was recently named a model professional learning community at work for its success in raising student achievement. Here to talk about this great designation and how they earned it is Principal at Brookvale, Cindy Hicks Rodriguez, along with teachers Patty Fulton and Janelle Persall. Thank you so much for being here. This is so exciting. Okay, now for anyone who doesn't understand what this designation means, what is it? I'm going to start off with that. Who wants to start?
So a PLC, a professional learning community, is a group of educators committed to excellence and raising student achievement. And they do that by making collective commitments with each other, whether it's through meetings or collaborative conversations, looking at data, analyzing data, and really doing the best work for kids to raise student achievement.
Now, how do you apply for this, and then, or you talk to your staff and then apply for it, or how does this work?
So we did both. So we've been working as a PLC since 2015.
Wow.
It's been a long time, and collecting data, analyzing data, making collective commitments as a team. Part of our schedule, our agreement, is common prep periods, release time, in order to really look at data, and again, getting that collective commitment from all staff to do what's best for students. So we've been working on this for a while, and there is an application process that goes along with that as well.
Okay, so say 4 years. Is this a normal time for this achievement, or do other schools take longer? Or
so the common application process for applying is the PLC through Solution Tree, a PLC at work wants to actually look at schools who have collective data for 3 or more years.
Got it.
So they want to be able to see sustainable growth over a period of time.
Okay, so you've achieved it. What does this mean now? Pressure?
We keep working because every day and every year we have students that are learning and growing, and we have teams that are learning and growing together, and so the work doesn't stop because we discover that we teach a lesson and we assess it, and did they learn it? If they did, what does that mean? And if they didn't, what does that mean?
Right.
We continually keep going to prepare our students for success in the next grade level.
It's amazing. Now, are other schools coming to you saying, hey, how'd you do this?
Well, when Fremont Unified really started the PLC initiative, it started around 2015. It really was.
Oh, you were right there.
We were right there. And
Look at you.
I remember being sent to a conference in Arizona, and I came back and probably scared the bejeebies out of my staff because I was ready to implement everything the very next day.
What is Cindy saying now?
Exactly.
Another acronym.
And I know I kind of freaked them out a little bit, but I knew that they were ready to take on this adventure because I have an amazing staff.
Yes, you
and
do.
They are a very hardworking staff, and they do always what's best for kids, which is why I brought the 2 people that I brought with me this evening, because they also serve as my curriculum and instruction liaisons. So they are really my right and left arm in making sure that the PLC work gets done.
What was the parents' take on this? Were they excited? Do they understand what happened here? Do you get any feedback from parents?
We had a celebration, so when we actually received our award, we invited parents and students. And so we did have...
Because they're part of this.
Absolutely. Yeah. They're part of that whole school community and the culture that comes along with being a model school.
Yeah.
Without that connectivity of the parents and building that triad with the student, the teacher, and the parent, it's a virtual impossibility to be able to raise student achievement. And we know that good teaching isn't done in isolation, it's done collaboratively. Yeah. So,
good job.
Yeah, so I'm very fortunate.
You are very fortunate. What do the students think?
The students are excited.
Yeah.
They're really motivated. They know they've seen a transition in the way that we're teaching in our collaborative conversations. So they're on this journey with us because without them, there is no professional learning
There's
community.
no one to teach.
Exactly, right? And have that growth. So they were excited to see that their rewards, we were sharing that success with them, that their success was ours as well. So it really built that community.
Yeah. Now, I understand only 200 schools in North America were designated as a model PLC. That's incredible.
Yeah.
If you think about all the schools in the nation. What do you think that's made you guys stand out? What was the game plan that you guys said, we're going to plan this out, we're going to do it this way and measure that? And I mean, was it just step by step that you started, or did you have a big picture in the beginning?
Well, when we were first approached with the idea of PLC, didn't really know what it was, where we were going. As teachers, we already have a lot of plates that we're juggling in the air, so we were really just concerned with what we were going to be asked to do.
Right.
So Cindy was very supportive, and she allowed us to have a practice PLC where our leadership team, it was great. We were able to have some release time, and we were given data, and as a mock PLC, we were able to just go through the process and things we learned in books like Learning by Doing.
Okay.
And we were able to just practice, and by going through the mock PLC, we were able to see the potential in the process, and we got excited, and we were able to jump in with both feet and be really excited to get going on the process.
That's amazing. Okay, so how were you notified that you got this designation? I mean, was it a letter? Did Dr. Wallace call you? I mean, was there a ceremony? How does this all happen?
Kind of a funny story that goes along with that.
Okay.
So I approached our instructional leadership team about the possibility of making the application in the first place. I wanted this to be a school vision and mission, not a principal-driven vision and mission. And they said, hey, Cindy, we're doing the work already. Let's just do it. We're still doing the work. All we're doing is filling out the application, collecting the data. Why not show them what we're doing already? And I said, excellent. So the instructional leadership team actually got together and wrote it. Within the first, I have to give credit to Sal Herrera at Robertson High School, because we called him over because he was the first PLC school in Fremont.
Yes.
And so we kind of picked his brain a little bit. What are things that they're looking for? What are some areas that we really need to be strong in? And he guided us with that. We completed the application, submitted it. It was approximately a month later that I had received notification from Solution Tree that we had a very strong application. There were just a few tweaks that needed to happen with the application. They needed a little bit more data. We added some data, went through, had all of the fact sheets on the floor in my house, and looked at all comparative schools. My husband thought I was nuts at that point.
That's
But we wanted to be able to gather data to do comparative schools for the data analysis. Submitted that. It was approximately another month and a half, maybe a month and a half. And I was sitting at my computer getting ready to do our staff bulletin on the email, and an email popped up from Solution Tree, and it made me nerve-wracked. You know, I thought,
do I open it now or after the meeting?
Yeah, do I have to do another application? And so I immediately opened it up and I read it, and it said that congratulations, you've been selected as a PLC model school. And to be perfectly honest, this has been something that I'm so proud of my team, and they deserve this honor and recognition for their hard work for their kids. I was so excited when I read it. I threw my computer off onto the floor. My husband was sitting over here, and I just started crying.
Yes.
And my husband thought, oh my gosh, what happened to a family member? What happened? We did it. We did it. They did it. So my husband and I both joined in a tearful moment because he knew that
how much work it was.
It was a lot of work, and he knew how hard and how much I had bragged about my staff in order to get us to the point where we were. And if it wasn't for these two ladies and the staff that I have, we wouldn't have been there. It really is the work that they've done. And so that's how we got notified. And then immediately after I got the email, I sent them, all my leadership team, a text message saying we did it, and all these wonderful emojis popped up on the phone. And then I immediately, and then I immediately went and called Dr. Wallace to let her know, and she was very excited also.
Oh,
so,
good.
Yes.
Now, do you have to go to a ceremony to receive this, or do they just send it in the mail? Or
they actually came to us, and so
Solution
Tree.
Nice.
Yes, so our flag, we have our little shrine up in the office for PLC. Our flag is there with some of our memorabilia of pictures of the work that we had done over the years, and then our award is on the wall also. So they actually came to us, and that's where the students and the parents and staff attended that ceremony, and we have a staff photo on our webpage and on the district webpage for our PLC accomplishment as
How
well.
exciting.
Very exciting. Very
my
exciting.
gosh.
Yes. And we had a huge cake too, so we couldn't go without the cake.
Absolutely, you gotta have cake.
Absolutely.
Now, I know you said that it has the students saw the effect of all of this that you guys are working with. Has it also made them feel like, okay, now as students, we need to take ownership and up the game? I mean, just not you just rely on the teachers, but we personally, this is ours, and we got to keep it going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The conversations amongst the students are not so much A, B, C, D grade based. They're more of how we're going to progress. You know, what standards are we working on? How are we going to take how we were doing it last year and continue to improve. Their eye is always on improving and improving in their skill set, not just in their numbers and their grading. So it's really changed their mindset.
Yeah, one of my favorite things I love about my third graders is that they celebrate their progress. So we, one of the things we do is we practice our multiplication facts, and we have a weekly test. And we tell ourselves we don't have to pass at the level every time, but we want to see progress, and then we celebrate the progress. And they articulate their need where their learning is. Like we're getting ready to take a math unit test, and I'll say, well, you know what's coming up on the test. What do you need to practice? Where are your weaknesses? And they'll go, I should practice my 11 facts, or I should practice fractions. And they're taking ownership of their learning, which is really exciting.
You know what I love about that most is that all of a sudden it's a level playing field for every student, that I am comfortable enough to say publicly in my classroom, I need help with my fractions.
Yeah.
It's safe.
It's safe.
You know what I mean? I love that.
And I'll ask kids, I'll say, be brave, raise your hand, be strong. And they'll raise their hand, and then I'll say, you may pick any partner in this room to work with that you would like. And then they pick their partner, and they go off, and they grow in their knowledge. It's really exciting.
And the process really includes not just the students who are, gives them the voice that are struggling, but also it builds up the students who are meeting those standards and gives them another level to extend. So it really means the whole PLC model is all means all, and all does mean all. It's from the bottom to the top. We're all in this together going forward.
And I bet the students that are excelling in math or whatever the subject is feels like, oh, I can help this person.
Yeah, because that's why I tell them they need to be able to express their thinking.
Yeah.
And that's one way they get to do it is when they partner up with someone, and they have to re-explain their thinking in a different way to help that other student grow in their knowledge as well. So.
Or as teachers, we're able to provide more challenging work to extend even the learning for those students with just in their own skill set.
Yeah.
And so it's really nice because sometimes those students do get left out. They don't get the one-on-one. But with this PLC process, we're able to look at those students too and be like, all right, how do we get them to a higher level?
Yeah.
Now, with all this openness and this creativity, if one of your faculty comes to you, hey, why don't we try this new program, are you open to it to see if it fits into the PLC model? Or, I mean, because they're trying to reach a student, and maybe they're thinking a different way that could possibly be the right venue for this student.
Sure. I love that approach.
Okay, good.
In fact, one of the pieces that I think that has come out of the PLC model is an even more open door policy. When we're in our leadership team, I don't run our leadership team any longer. We have facilitators, and the teachers actually become the leaders, and I'm actually the learner that's sitting there taking the notes. And it's a wonderful transition, because for some administrators that is a hard place to get to, is being able to give up what we sometimes assume as that authority or that leadership, absolutely, and be able to relay that to the teachers. And so I love that kind of approach.
So even your principal's comfortable.
I love it.
It's a community. It really is.
It really is.
Yeah.
It is. And the fact that I've been at Brookvale now for 13 years, I have really seen a transitional shift in leadership at my school site. And I have seen that collaborative culture. I have seen the teachers come from point A to point B. And enjoy that journey.
Yeah.
And change is scary. Change is scary for a lot of people. But the staff that we have and the commitments that we make as a PLC, as a professional learning community, help drive that change. And it's interesting when they share with you some of the stories that happens in the classroom with how we adjust instruction. The focus prior to PLCs really was on teaching, but the focus now becomes on learning.
Yes.
And so the principles of the three big principles of a PLC is focusing on the learning, building a collaborative culture, and then focusing on the results. Really hitting those three things home. And you could walk into any classroom at Brookvale and you will see collaboration happening.
I love that.
Where it didn't happen before.
Yeah.
So the same strategies that they're using in their collaborative meetings are the same strategies that are happening with their kids in the classroom with their peers, among their peers. It's wonderful.
But yes, it's a great thing for the students, but it's also a great thing for the faculty and the principal.
Yes.
I mean, you're all in this, I love this atmosphere, this culture you have created through through this process. It's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, I
really
feel like
is.
I can go to not only my third grade teammates, but any colleague on
Right.
campus and say, I'm having this struggle. And they are open to sharing ideas and discussing things and working together. And it's really safe.
Yes.
I feel really safe.
That's what I get out of this.
Yeah.
Well, good job. Congratulations
Thank
to all
you.
of you.
Thank
I
you so
commend
much.
you. This is amazing. And thanks so much for being on the show.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
From everyone here at Community Conversations, we appreciate you watching and we'll see you next time. Thank you.